you where the fish
Triple,
are.
triple! Get in there!
Tell you where the
Ooh, that's
fish
a nice
are.
fish.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you where the fish are.
Woo!
Hey guys, Duane Inglin with Pautzke Bait Company. We're back here in the bait lab and I'm going to show you the #1 Coon shrimp recipe that's out there. This has been created by me about 6 to 8 years ago. It's definitely the #1 cure, and a lot of folks will ask why. And some other questions we get is, why do so much to cure simply some shrimp? There's a number of reasons. There's other options out there, but I guarantee you this is the one cure that you can do that will keep these coon shrimp not only cured and durable, they're going to fish well, they're going to have great color, great scent. They work well for salmon, steelhead, trout. In the US, in Europe, up in Canada, all over, this has been used and proven time and time again. And I can literally cure these up, and the finished product is not only going to last when you're fishing them, but they will last in your refrigerator 2 to 3 years and still fish as well, if not better, than the day that they were cured. So a number of steps to get through to make sure these come out exactly like you want them, and why they fish so well. We have a number of dry products that go into this, and it's very simple because everything is basically a 1/4 cup, okay? Gonna add a 1/4 cup rock salt, 1/4 cup refined sea salt, non-iodized sea salt, 1/4 cup brown or raw sugar. I like to use, if you can find it, some washed raw sugar. It's extremely sweet, all right? This is a sweet bait, not a salty or sulfite-based bait. So we're using refined or washed raw sugar. I'm going to use refined white sugar, fine granule. And then, of course, 1/4 cup Pautzke's red, the dark red Baraxel Fire, and a tablespoon or 2, but at least 1 heaping tablespoon of the Firepower krill powder. Very important to get that in there. But the base of this thing is what makes it so successful. This is in our nectar, which is egg juice, okay? You can do other options, but the egg juice is the key. Anytime you mix eggs with shrimp, you're going to have success. So we start off with 1 full bottle of our red nectar. Again, 100% egg juice. And that's your base liquid. Now you just start adding your dry components. Here's your 1/4 cup rock salt, 1/4 cup non-iodized sea salt, quarter cup of the raw sugar and a 1/4 cup of the refined white sugar. And then we add a 1/4 cup of our red, Pautzke's red, dark red Baraxel Fire. And a tablespoon of krill powder. Get that all in there. Now I like to put the lid on. Shake this up. Make sure it gets stirred up there pretty good. Now we're going to add our liquid components to the recipe. If you can find it, blue, it's the organic blue agave. Again, this is a sweet recipe, so an extra sweetness. Now you can choose to leave this out. I definitely put it in because I think it makes a difference. 1 tablespoon of that sweetener, and you can find it in different brands, different locations, but it's just basically a liquid sugar. We're also going to add red fire dye. The red fire dye adds a tremendous amount of extra color to your coon shrimp, and we're going to put a tablespoon. And again, if you want a tremendous amount of color, you don't necessarily need to, but you can add 2 tablespoons. I always go with 1. And then, of course, 100% liquid anise, and you want to put 10 to 15 drops. And I've already counted these before, so I know a full vial is 10 drops and a half is going to be an extra 5. So we're going 15 drops of pure anise. And that's pretty much it as far as the contents or the components that go in. Now we're going to add the coon shrimp. And depending on the size of coon shrimp you get, you're going to put about 60 to 80 in a quart jar. Now if you're going to do this in a half a quart, or I guess a pint, you know, just scale everything down, cut it in half. Some folks have asked me, well, I just want to do a pint jar. Well, then do everything in an eighth, 1/8 proportion, and just cut everything in half. And then you won't have as many coon shrimp to put in the jar, obviously, but a quart jar is going to fit 60 to 80. So let's put those in there. These are right out of the freezer, no big deal. They've been blanch boiled and frozen, and they're ready to cure. Pack those in. Now I can top it off with a number of things. I can top it off with red fire brine. I can top it off with distilled water. I like to top it off with a little more of the red nectar. Again, it's mixing that egg juice with everything else. Put the lid on. Now we're just going to get that mixing up. Now, this will not cure as well if I just simply set it in the fridge and let it sit, okay? I need to do a couple things with this. At least once a day for the first couple weeks, I'll come out to my bait fridge and I'll roll this around just to mix the contents up. That gets all the salts and sugars off the bottom. It takes a few weeks to a month, really, to get all the salts and sugars broke down and absorbed into the meat of the shrimp. And that's what you want. It adds durability, it adds color, it adds sweetness, it adds scent. And you want them all to cure evenly. If I just leave it sitting in the fridge like this, the bottom ones are going to get extremely cured and red, and the tops are going to be a little lighter pink. So I got to mix up the contents, and then maybe once a day for the first couple weeks, I'm going to mix it up like that. Okay, I'm going to write the date on top of this lid. I'm going to put a couple letters to tell me what's inside the mix, and the date's most important. If we look at this date right here, 7/25/14. These shrimp are a couple years old, and fished them last week and they worked great. So a durable bait, a very productive bait. It works again, salmon, steelhead, trout. So any salmon species. I've caught Chinook, coho, sockeye, pretty much anything you want. This is the #1 cure. Go get yourself some products and good luck.